Welcome, everybody, to the Glaziar Gamble. You clicked the title, you saw the thumbnail, so you know what this is about. NFL Draft. Round one is on the books. We decided to wait until the day after to record, so this is actually Friday instead of Thursday, and we have the live round two going on right now. And let's get right into it. We're going to react a little bit to our some of the first round picks, but then we'll break down some Vikings talk mainly. First overall pick, Travon Walker. Vegas knew it. DraftKings knew it. FanDuel knew it. They changed all their odds a week prior almost, so they knew it. They got some insider information. Whether or not that's the right pick, we'll wait to see. Athletically, ceiling-wise, it's the better pick. Aiden Hutchinson, floor-wise, smarter pick, safer pick.
Right.
But people always say Jacksonville keeps missing on their draft picks, so it's better to just stick with the safe pick.
Sure.
But honestly, you got to keep swinging for home runs to turn a team around like that.
Yeah.
They just keep being poor. Eventually, you have to hit on one of these guys. If you do, it's going to make a big difference. Aiden Hutchinson would have been, I think, a great fit for the team.
Sure.
But, I mean, you can get a guy like Travon Walker who, I don't think Cleveland's mad about Myles Garrett. He was an athletic freak.
Of course, yeah.
He had the production in college that Travon Walker didn't have. I think Travon Walker is one of the riskiest first overall picks I've seen in a long time, if I'm being honest.
Right.
I just don't think he's that smart of a pick. I would have gone with Aiden Hutchinson, but I do think Jacksonville. I disagree with the whole they have to play safe argument.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Jacksonville, there has been some questionable decisions, mainly like even free agency.
Yep.
Like they went out and got Brandon Scherff, not a bad deal at all, right? Like he's all pro. He's one of the best guards, if not, the best guard in the league.
We were vocal about wanting him on the Vikings.
Right. So, but then they also dish out a ton of money to
Christian
Cardinals guy, Christian Kirk, who has never topped like 800 yards. So, so it's
and he's most successful from the slot. So you can potentially say they paid a slot receiver as if he was the top 3 guy.
Right. So, it pays it, or you're going to have to see what happens with not only their free agency, but with their draft picks as well. So
we'll see what happens there.
We'll see what happens.
I don't mind it. I think the Jags have done pretty well this draft. Risk versus reward is anything with gambling, anything like that, which the draft is a lottery. It's gambling. So we don't know how any of these guys are. Everybody says Aiden Hutchinson's supposed to be the safest pick. He was the safest, easiest, lock. They say Aiden Hutchinson's the safest pick, but Aiden Hutchinson might turn out to be, a Jamarcus Russell. Everybody thought Jamarcus Russell was going to be a good pick.
Sure.
Like obviously that's one of the extreme examples, but nobody knows. That's the permanent. Nobody knows. Everybody thought Trevor Lawrence was going to be the best rookie quarterback ever, and he's on Jacksonville, so that wasn't the case.
He's on Jacksonville, yeah, exactly.
So,
if he was in the Patriots, he would have probably been the best quarterback.
Right.
If he was,
which Mac Jones only looked good because he was on a well-run team with a good defense and a good O-line.
With an elite defense, number one, so
exactly.
Number 2 or whatever. But
so the Lions are another one of those teams. They're on a 4 or 5 year turnaround.
Right.
They're not ready to flip and win it right now. So they take the safe pick with Aiden Hutchinson. I think that was a great pick. I think that was good.
Yeah.
We're obviously not going to go through every pick, but Aiden Hutchinson I think was smart. It was good. It was. I don't think there's much you can say about it. It's just like if Jacksonville takes Aiden Hutchinson, nobody's talking about the pick.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't think the Lions take Travon Walker, but apparently that was the case. They were just going to take the other one, whoever Jacksonville didn't take, and they were fine with either. I don't mind that process. I just think that's kind of weak to not make a move for your guy if you really want one specific guy.
Yeah.
Like we said, not going to go through all of them. The next one was the one that shocked a lot of people.
Probably hit the top 5, right? Like that's.
The next one was the one that did shock a lot of people, though. That was the first big surprise. Derek Stingley went to the Texans at 3. Everybody said that was the biggest reach because Sauce was better. And Sauce.
Even Evan Neal.
They needed a tackle, but they took Stingley. They took the risky guy who has the potential to be the best corner in the draft, potentially the best defensive player in the draft. They just took the risk. I, again, don't mind it. Everybody knows I liked Stingley better than Sauce.
Yeah.
So I think that's not a bad pick. I actually listened to a radio show in the morning and a different podcast in the morning of the draft, and both of them guessed the Texans taking Stingley. So I was not surprised when it happened. Sure. And they all explained very good reasons why Stingley fits with the Texans better than Sauce. So I like it. I like the pick. I know it shocked a lot of people in the draft world, shocked a lot of NFL fans. It was the smart pick because if he does hit, I think he will be better than Sauce. Sure. He went up against better competition than Sauce. Obviously, a lot of teams were, complimenting Sauce before the draft. Nick Saban said they hated going up against Sauce. They purposely went away. All the people talk good about Sauce, so Sauce is a good pick too. But I still think Stingley was a super smart pick. Right. I don't know what else to say besides I like the pick a lot, even though a lot of people were surprised.
Right.
The next pick was Sauce, though, to the Jets, which I think the Jets.
It was very quick. Yeah, it was very quick for them to get their pick in after Stingley.
Right,
as they're on the clock.
That's not a surprise. They as soon as Sauce was available, I'm sure the Jets saw that they had their top position they'll need. The best ranked player at that position. They took.
Sure.
I don't know. Not much else to say. They took the number 1 ranked corner.
Yeah. Sure.
That's just smart. I do think, just before we get going any further, I think the Ravens, the Jets, the Jags, Chargers, Chiefs. Yeah. That was the best draft. The teams that had the best draft.
I didn't see what the I didn't.
They took a guard.
To the Chargers.
They took a very good guard.
Okay.
Bolstering an already pretty solid offensive line with another young offensive lineman. So I just think it was super smart. And their offense is young, fairly cheap,
unheralded.
And they also have a lot. I just think the Chargers super smart. Super smart.
They have to do that's going to be a very competitive division, so they have to nail this. And if the Chiefs have nailed it, so
Chiefs like nailed it. The Jets have a culmination of so much talent. Like, they have a lot of picks, and all of their picks have been good to me. So I think that's part of why they did. But the reason I have the Ravens best is the Ravens are doing what the Ravens do. They have a player that shouldn't have fallen, so they just take the best player available. They trade away Hollywood Brown and get a center, because we have said it throughout this whole, we have 40 some episodes now of this podcast. We have said it countless times. The Ravens falling off each year is because they keep losing linemen. They lost Yonda. They lose Orlando Brown or whoever.
Yeah, I was going to say Orlando Brown. Rick Wagner.
Rick
Wagner.
They keep losing these guys. The Ravens are getting worse because they're losing players where it counts the most.
Yeah.
So I think the fact of switching Hollywood Brown for a lineman, I love that. I think the Ravens are doing an amazing job this draft, like they do every draft.
Yeah, and they didn't have any wide receivers to like you take, like, outside of Hollywood, they didn't really have any receivers anyway. Like, sure, they had Bateman, but he didn't. It took him a while to catch on. He was injured too, so you gotta hit with one of these receivers later for them.
And receiver is one of those ones that just, you can get a late round guy that's productive.
Yep.
You don't have to.
The Vikings have shown it. Yeah, Stephon Diggs, KJ Osborne, Amir Smith-Marset, Adam Thielen. So yeah, they got to hit on one of those guys. But yeah, I'm okay with Linderbaum, especially for them, because like you said, they did need O-line help, and they should have 2 running backs coming back now from their ACLs, right? I forget their names.
Yeah. Yep. I know who you mean, though. Yep. Yeah. Not Dobbs, but whatever. We know their running backs are good, and they'll be coming back. They have a running back at quarterback who's good, so they will be set.
He's not happy, but he's good.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson's making a fool of himself on Twitter this past couple days, just in my opinion. I think go ahead and voice your opinion, but on the tweet welcoming in Linderbaum, you say this isn't about him. What happens if, when he got drafted in the first round, somebody responds, "This isn't about you"? I guarantee he's pissed off. So that's the guy who's snapping you the ball every snap, and you're starting it off by trying to burn the bridge before it even's built. Sure. I think Lamar Jackson's being an idiot. And then rounding out the top 5, Kayvon Thibodeau taken to the Giants. I think that was one of the worst picks of those top picks. That's just personally, I don't think Thibodeau was that. Like, I think part of what makes him good was obviously some of his production. However, I definitely also don't mind the fact that he has a brand. All these players want to build a brand. I think, honestly, you're smart if you build a brand early. Sauce with that chain coming in, loved it. Some of these guys coming in with brands, I think, are smarter. I definitely don't mind it. My issue with Thibodeau is I just don't see it. It's just one of those guys. I watch it. I'm totally, like I say every year, I'm totally fine being proven wrong by every single one of these people.
Right, absolutely.
If I don't think you're good, I said it with Justin Fields. He's on a rival team, the Bears. I'm totally fine if Justin Fields becomes a franchise quarterback. I love when people prove me wrong because I want success. I just don't think Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be that great. And I'm totally fine if he proves me wrong. I don't mind the Giants. So, if he does well, great for them. I just thought I think Evan Neal was a better fit. They ended up getting him. So Not mad about that. I think they could have used a Drake London, Garrett Wilson. Right. I think it's fine that they didn't go.
Yeah, their wide receiver core is not great.
But if they need a defensive line, I would have rather them got Jordan Davis over Kayvon Thibodeau.
Sure.
Just in my opinion. And I think this is one of those drafts where edge is pretty deep. So you don't need one of these top-end guys. And I don't think any of these top-end guys are locks enough to take them. I think Jordan Davis was the only interior defensive lineman that was a first-round pick or worth a first-round grade or something like that. So I don't know. I think Thibodeau was a little bit of a reach. I'm totally fine if you prove me wrong. But, I get it. I understand the pick. I just don't agree with it.
Sure.
And then, next was the couple tackles. Icky went before Evan Neal. People thought that the Panthers might take Malik Willis. I never for a moment thought the Panthers were taking a quarterback. Yeah. I didn't think any quarterback was worth a first-round pick. The fact that there was a first-round quarterback, I think that was ridiculous. I just didn't think there was. Obviously, we could be wrong, and we might see 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. We don't know.
Right.
These guys might be amazing.
Yeah, I don't think they pick it, right? That's who they got.
Kenny Pickett for the Steelers, which is who I mocked to the Steelers about 4 months ago.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he might be one of those situations where, much like Andy Dalton and Fields, where the vet gets the starting role, which is Trubisky. Yeah. And then if it doesn't go well, then they'll just throw Pickett in there, and hopefully he doesn't do as poorly as Fields' stats were. But
right, and Trubisky's serviceable.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's gonna. Like, he could just be terrible and give Pickett a chance, but he's also fine for a season.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I'm fine with it. So Carolina, not surprised they didn't take a quarterback. I didn't think there's a quarterback worth it. The only reason I would have seen them swing on a quarterback is that maybe Matt Rule thinks this is his last year as a coach. Yeah. So he thinks he has to swing and miss or swing and hit, whatever. Right. But Matt Rule also made a comment. The reason why I didn't think the Panthers were going to take a quarterback is Matt Rule made a comment saying that they don't want Sam Darnold to think they're moving on immediately, even though he knows. He made a comment saying something like, we still want Sam to know we have confidence in him. And I was like, okay, well, if he's saying that, he's saying he's not taking a QB.
Right. If they would just take a QB if they didn't. They wouldn't say that, publicly say that. So
I agree, 100%. The thing that surprised me is they took Icky. I get a lot of the draft experts said that he was the best tackle in the draft. I think Evan Neal was good enough to me to be a number 1 overall pick. I think Evan Neal is one of those guys that was a victim of draft over analysis of that time between the end of the season and the draft. Evan Neal is a awesome offensive lineman. He has to work on his footwork, but honestly, even without that footwork, you're going to have a tough time moving him. Yeah. I just think I would have gone him over. I don't think either is a bad pick, though. So taking Icky and then Evan Neal going next, I think the Giants getting Evan Neal was a steal for them, and they would have been fine with either.
Yeah, it probably would have been, I'm going to take the whatever one doesn't get taken. So,
Which Charles Cross went a couple later. I thought that was a little bit of a reach, but he's still pretty good. Drake London was the first wide receiver taken in the draft. That was a lot of early mocks had that. I think he is a second or third best receiver in the draft. But
yeah, he was down there. Let's see, he was mocked down here at like 11, maybe.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that Wilson and Olave were both going to get taken before him, and the Falcons took London instead. London wore a huge chain heading into Atlanta, and I don't know if you saw the comedian I can't remember what comedian it was, but he said he really thinks he's going to walk into Atlanta wearing that chain. People making a comment as if he's going to get that chain stolen if he leaves that showing. Right. I thought that was very funny, but I think Drake London has the personality for it. He is a top 3 receiver, top 5 receiver. So depending on if this is your guy or it's not your guy, that's it.
Yeah, who's throwing to him too, though.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why the next two it was a run of receivers: Wilson, Olave, Jameson Williams.
Right.
And this is where we're going to probably move away from the rest of the draft and just talk Vikings. So Wilson, Jets, huge reason why I think Jets are winning in this draft is they also got the best wide receiver in the draft for a young quarterback that they have. Saints got Olave probably because Mychal Thomas is no longer going to be on their team. And then the Detroit Lions take Jameson Williams because they traded up with the Vikings. The Vikings traded down 20 picks to 32 and picked up picked up one additional third and then moved around a couple other picks. I don't think Jameson, I think I've said it last week. I said Jameson Williams was overrated as a prospect. He's probably good. I don't like the fact that he traded within division and he could be good.
He's fast, right?
He's very fast. Yep.
Very fast. Yeah.
All these guys are fast, honestly.
Right.
He also has very good hands, decent ball skills, but I think his route running is where he lacks. And there are some times to me where he does seem to get beat out by shifty corners, like the quick corners. I don't think he necessarily gets beat by good corners. I think he gets, I don't know if it's a mind game thing. I don't know if it's like a read and react thing.
Sure.
He just seems to get beat by shifty corners. Right. So I did have issues with him because every corner in the NFL, even the bad ones, are going to be shifty, are going to out mind game you. So, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the pick, which Vikings traded down. I expected the Vikings to stay and take Kyle Hamilton. He fell into their lap, but they traded down to 32. The Vikings at 32 took Scene.
Yeah, Lewis Scene.
Scene.
Scene is what he was on the morning show this morning. He was talking to PA and they were saying Scene.
Okay.
Lewis
he
Scene
was the number 2. For those of the Vikings fans that are tuning in, this is where maybe you wanted to listen to. You just started the video and you fast forwarded to here. Yes, Kyle Hamilton was the best safety in the draft. Scene was the second best safety in the draft and fell to 32. And he was also
safeties went before him. Too.
And multiple Georgia defenders went before him.
Yeah.
Scene was the number 2 rated defender on Georgia's defense in 2021/2022, the number 1 rated defense in college football, and he was the second best player on that defense.
MVP of the championship game too.
So they got a tremendous defensive player. Yes, he's not Kyle Hamilton. He doesn't have the hype around him or the height and size, all that. He is a box safety who is going to have to be taught some of the X's and O's of how to be a little bit more free safety, which is fine because Harrison Smith is one of the best, if not the best, center field safety playing safety in the league. So, and Cam Bynum is very good.
Cam Bynum's very good, yeah.
So he's learning behind people. He can play special teams, and he can take all this time to learn the X's and O's from our most veteran coach, which is Ed Donatel, our defensive coordinator. I think this was a tremendous pick. At first, when I reacted, I had the similar reactions. A lot of people, why trade down and take a safety if you can have Kyle Hamilton? But you got the second best safety, a player that was clearly on your board, and you picked up an additional pick in the meat of the draft, where on average, people who pick between round 2 and 4 pick more starters than people in the first round. Right. So they picked up additional picks in the round where they're getting more starters in NFL history. So smart pick. I like it. Scene is
he's very smart. Yeah, he's very smart.
He is smart.
He's very smart. He's very humble. He's very just well spoken.
I like Georgia dudes. I love the I love it.
Yeah,
love
and
Georgia
then
guys.
and also probably my favorite aspect of it. As soon as he was picked, they were showing highlights of him, and he just murders people out there.
He does. Yep.
He just decapitates them, whether it's his head getting taken off too. But yeah, there's one
he sacrifices his body.
Yeah, he there's a wide receiver coming across the middle, and he lays him out, but he loses his helmet, and he's just as destroyed as
Vikings take a guard.
Yeah. Which one?
The Vikings took a guard, Ed Ingram out of LSU.
LSU guy.
That just happened live as we're recording. Yes.
LSU guys have always been good picks for us. So,
but anyway, scene. Rock hard hitter. He will murder people on defense because of how hard he hits, which, if he is going to be starting out on special teams, phenomenal. He's going to learn maybe how to break down a little better so he doesn't overly exert, overly sacrifice his body. Maybe learn how to safe tackle, wrap up on special teams, carry that over onto defense. When Harrison Smith retires, or maybe they let him go, or maybe Cam Bynum does move to corner, like you mentioned.
Yeah, he's
they
one
also
of those like hybrid positions.
They needed a sub linebacker when they're moving into 3-4. Kyle Hamilton was honestly the best sub linebacker, and then maybe Devin Reed, I believe, was the linebacker. But Seen is another safety who is a tremendous sub linebacker option. So he will be available in dime packages, in the hybrid package. So I think it's a pick that, yes, it was, people were upset about it, but Vikings fans, apparently it's required. I tweeted this out today. Apparently it's a requirement for Minnesota team fans to hate their team.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, but that just seems to be the case because I basically have to block everybody in my family with the way they're talking about the draft.
Yeah, it's a lot of Twitter voices have stated like, sure, everybody wanted Hamilton, but it's also the only safety they heard about.
Right. And you're all pissed about a guy you heard about a month ago. Yeah. And all of a sudden, he's the guy I wanted all along. Yeah, maybe you had to look up Scene because you hadn't heard of him before.
Right.
Well, I had heard of him purely because I love college football. I love the draft. But I knew more about Hamilton. I knew more about other guys on the Georgia defense. Yeah. But if you watch his tape doesn't lie. They always say tape doesn't lie. Scene shows on defense, and he showed at the combine.
Right. He showed in the championship game when it mattered.
Showed in a big moment.
Yeah.
Tremendous pick. Kwesi was extremely happy about it, and he said he'll always remember him as his first pick. I love it. So, all the people that say they didn't like it, maybe you should try to be a GM. Go do that grind, or maybe go root for a different team, because trust this new. If they wanted to do the same thing, they would have kept Spielman. I I don't get it. But moving into the second round today, it's happening. The Vikings traded down, this time with the Packers in division. So
all the Bears are up next.
All these complaints about the Vikings trades, they're trading down, it's just Spielman again, all this stuff. I just shut up. First of all, just shut up.
Yeah. Either you're with the team or you're not with the team. That's like it's
agreed. The only valid complaint they have is stop trading within division when you're dropping down this much. I don't the trading within division kind of sucks. That's the only complaint. I'm like, yep, you got a point there. But where you lose me is you don't think it's a good idea to get more picks in the thirds, more picks in the second.
Yeah.
This is where NFL starters come from the draft. This is where in NFL history, if you're looking for analytics, if you're looking for just what has history shown us, for maybe some of you older listeners that want it to be like it used to be, history has shown us rounds 2 to 4.
Yeah.
And then after that, there are more undrafted starters than there are first round starters.
Yeah.
So it's 2 to 4 and then undrafted guys. So
you gotta hit on
picks.
Yeah, the 1 to 4 is where you want to hit, right?
Yes.
And the 1 to 4 is where you want to hit because you're in the highest talented or the most talented people. And then 5 through 7, it's like, we could take a chance.
That's where coaching matters. Yeah. That's where
take a chance.
A veteran or a coach to train these guys to be good.
Right. And you could be like, well, this wide receiver runs really fast. Like we could just take him out of pure speed. So
yeah, this dude was kick return. Maybe we could translate. He was a very good punt returner. Maybe we can translate that vision into being a route runner. Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Like that. Stephon Diggs as a punt returner is how you knew. I thought Stephon Diggs he's always going to be one of those guys I thought was one of the biggest steals ever. He's proved me right. I thought he was going to be a tremendous wide receiver, almost primarily because of his return abilities. That vision doesn't come natural to people.
Right.
Odell Beckham Jr. did kick return, was not a good kick returner to me in college.
Yeah.
It should be pretty clear. Some things transition, like those late round picks. It's up to the coaches to make those skills translate.
Right. And I mean, Vikings have hit on 5th round wide receivers in the past. Stephon Diggs, KJ Osborne, Amir Smith-Marset. Yep. Yeah. So and Smith-Marset, it's like they took him basically just on his speed. Like they based him, he's really, really fast. And then the one time he gets to start with Thielen, I think Thielen was out and KJ was out or something.
Yeah, I think that was Thielen's COVID game.
Yeah. And he had 100 yards and a touchdown. So he got a chance, he got a moment, and he could run routes.
Crazy.
So yeah.
Crazy for Kwesi.
That coaching it helped ISM. So
right. Well, like we said, they did trade with the Packers. So not great. Packers took a receiver, Christian Watson. I think that was a reach there where Mechie would have been who I would have picked. When they did the trade, I immediately thought, here comes Mechie. We're going to have to go against Mechie. This sucks. They didn't take Mechie, so, Christian Watson might be good, but I'd rather take my chances against Watson over Mechie to start out.
Sure.
But they picked up another additional pick, and in the meat of the draft. And what do? They use that pick to trade back up with Indy and draft the guy that everybody wanted at 32 or 34.
Yeah.
So so the Vikings, the Vikings take Andrew Booth. Andrew Booth was it was Boya Mafe, Andrew Booth, and then one linebacker or so. And then that was it. Otherwise, it was trade down. Well, guess what? They traded down and still got Booth.
Yeah.
And they picked up an additional pick in the meantime. After trading up, they still have more picks than they started with.
Yeah.
And they got them more in the
They got a 4th.
Draft.
Yeah,
they got a 4th.
They just swapped the 6th for a 4th, essentially. So.
Yeah, and so and we still have another pick in the second.
The second pick in the second.
Or
the third. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
And another pick in the second at the end of the second.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So we have an additional 4th, another pick in the second, and a pick in the third. It's this meat of the draft. These are the guys you got to pay attention to. Go ahead and watch scene, but the first round guys are the guys that are supposed to hit. The ones you pay attention to are these other guys. Booth, I think, is better than McDuffie. So we'll see if that proves to be right. I liked Booth better as a prospect.
Sure.
Clemson is a solid school, but I do. So he has his health issues. I think he has a potential to be another Mackenzie Alexander of either he stays healthy and he's okay, or he's not gonna be out. He's probably not gonna be out there starting right away either. No, not with Hairston and the dude
Sullivan,
from Green Bay, Sullivan, Chandon Sullivan.
So
Patty P,
Dantzler, and Sullivan are probably going to be
and Bynum, honestly,
yeah.
So you're there. He has time to learn from one of the best corners in the past 10 years in Patrick Peterson. He has a young, successful corner in Dantzler to learn from. He's got Harry to learn he's got a good special teams to get used to. I think Booth is a solid pick, and they were still able to trade down net additional picks. So again, if you didn't like the trade down because Packers, again, shut up. Yeah, I get it. Packers aren't a team you want to trade with. Might have been the best offer available. Probably not the worst idea to get slightly friendly with the GMs that you're going to be in conversations with the most over your career. You might not want to be buddy and help them out, but you didn't. They helped us out more. And they didn't even take guys we wanted. I think it's ridiculous that people are freaking out. I think that was a tremendous pick. And then, like we said, live, Vikings just took guard Ed Ingram. I think Ed Ingram is a solid. It's a safe pick. I don't think it's exciting. I don't think it's super risky. And it's at the biggest position of need at the offensive line.
Yeah.
So we just picked up a bunch of guards in free agency. He can learn from those guys, or he can compete for the starting job.
Yeah,
right guard and center are where we need people.
Yep. Yeah, and I also saw something in regards to us trading back for Scene. Is the monetary value that we would have to pay a rookie from at pick 12 compared to at pick 32 is difference of like $2.5 million or something like that, or like $1 million in difference. And so they're like, did they do that to possibly still be bringing in a free agent or something? So
I want to see if Malik Willis has even gone yet.
I don't believe he has. I've been kind of watching it.
This is what I'm saying. These people know, like, GMs know more than the fans. All these fans wanted the Vikings to take Malik Willis. Malik Willis might still be available in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
You still have Carson Strong.
Yeah.
You have so many decent quarterbacks that this is not where you want a quarterback.
And we don't even need a quarterback.
And we don't need a quarterback. Yeah.
The whole plan, like, well, how they restructured Cousins is like they want to get a guy next year to learn under Cousins for his final year. And
yes.
Who even knows if it's going to be Cousins' final year?
Like, we don't. If Cousins takes him into the playoffs, it's not going to be. So they took a guard, extremely smart. I think it was a safe pick. That was the pick from Green Bay. So
we knew they were going to.
Did Green Bay help us out then?
Yeah.
Because we got our biggest position of need on offense from Green Bay.
Actually hit all of our 3 biggest position of needs,
but
secondary.
Not from Detroit and Green Bay. They wouldn't help us out.
Right, not at all.
No, there's no way. So
if this is a D end, if this is the next pick is a D end or a pass rusher of some sort or an edge, then we've hit probably our top 4 positions of need right off the bat. So
I think this draft has been going very well for the Vikings. I wouldn't say they're doing as well of a draft as the Ravens, the Jets, the Chiefs, the Chargers, but they're up there. They're definitely one of the better drafts this year. There are some teams I think that they continuously are reaching or picking players. I wouldn't. I think the Seahawks have kind of redeemed themselves with a couple of their picks.
The boy Mafe, and then they took a running back. They took
Kenneth Walker, I believe.
Sure.
So I think the Seahawks kind of redeemed themselves a little bit, especially when they only had like 3 picks last year and all that.
Right.
I think the Chiefs have nailed it. I think the Patriots have the biggest reaches both today and yesterday.
Yeah, because I want to say Strange was like a high 3rd-ish range.
And then today they took, let me see.
Tyquan Thornton.
Yeah, I thought that was a strange pick. I thought that was...
He's fast. It's like a 4.28 or something like that. They're all fast.
He reminds me a lot of Corey Coleman, if people remember him. He reminds me a lot of Corey Coleman.
Corey Dropman.
Corey
Cole Dropman.
And I believe they're from the same team. They both played for Baylor.
They both played for the Pats too.
So it makes sense that they might like him on film. So that's who he reminds me of. It might be, again, prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong.
It's okay. Prove me wrong. But there were better players available. So let's see. Yeah, Sky Moore was available. I liked him better. George Pickens was available. I liked him better.
Yeah.
There's better people. There's the guys that are being picked. I don't really get it. Chiefs just took Brian Cook, by the way. I think that's another phenomenal pick. Chiefs are doing a great job. Bengals are picking really well as well.
Yeah,
shout out to a couple of these teams that are picking really well. I think the Bills are like that middle of the road. Like they haven't been picking poorly, but
what about Eagles? Because a lot of people say the Eagles have just done well. They got AJ Brown, Jordan Davis.
Yeah, the Eagles I would say have done tremendous. I'm not an Eagles fan. I actually would say go as far as say I don't like the Eagles at all. I think the Eagles have done extremely well. I would put them up there as well. There's a couple teams. I think the Steelers have not done as well as they could have, which is sad because I really like the Steelers. If people listening or watching have questions about how we believe their teams did or why certain picks might fit, feel free to ask us. And follow us Twitter, Glaziar Gamble, and at JJ Jaffet Plane. Either or we will be having, I'm sure, as the draft continues, we'll continue tweeting out about them. I know I'll be tweeting.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys have just been. A lot of these teams have been doing fine. A couple teams, I think, are just the Patriots. I don't know what they're doing. The Seahawks, they reached across, redeemed themselves today. I think the Lions are one of those middle of the road teams. Texans, Commanders. Commanders. I did not like their pick in round 1 at all.
Sure.
Packers. Round 1, I thought was not great at all.
Yeah.
They took Quay Walker when I think Devin Lloyd would have been
better.
I'm so glad we don't have to go up against Devin Lloyd. And then they took Devontae Wyatt, who I think there was better options there at D-line.
Sure.
So I don't think the Packers did that great either in the first round. And for now, that's basically all I have for my opinions on the draft. It's still going on. If you're a Vikings fan who's mad, maybe sit and think about it. For analytics fans, the Vikings actually gained a ton both yesterday and today in terms of like analytic draft points. So they're doing really well in terms of analytics. They're doing really well in terms of overall talent. And NFL history shows us the picks that they are taking now have a higher chance of success than who they could have taken at 12.
Sure.
I think Kyle Hamilton would have been phenomenal. Not going to lie.
Fun. It would have been fun.
Not going to lie.
But yeah, I got 2 points.
Sure. Sure. A little bit of time.
The Steelers taking Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
When no other quarterbacks have come off the board yet.
Clear reach.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake. But prove me wrong. I mean, I hope he has a great career.
I thought he was fun to watch in college. He might be fun to watch in the NFL.
Yeah, but no quarterbacks have gone, and we're in almost round 3. So, we all knew it wasn't a strong quarterback class. Obviously, Malik Willis, who's like the number 1, still hasn't been picked. So, and then second, to bring up your point with Vikings fans. An unbelievable amount of backlash when the couch GMs I did a tweet yesterday where I was like I wanted Kyle Hamilton, but that's also the only name I heard, right? And so I didn't know anything about Lewis Cine, but
you don't have a team of scouts.
People know more than I do. And so, if Kwesi came in and you were like, oh yeah, okay, I like this guy, then why would you change that?
Right.
Why would you change that? Just get on board, and if you don't like the pick, you're like, I don't want to be a fan anymore, then go away.
Just go.
I don't want you in my house.
I agree. If you didn't like the picks, just be quiet about it then. Go to another team. Yeah. There's no reason to dislike what happened here. And these people know more. I feel like I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to the draft and these players. I'm nowhere near the level of these guys.
Yeah. So if the Vikings were at pick 12, they stayed at pick 12, they took Malik Willis, then I'd be like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Agreed.
So, but we didn't do that. We got the second best safety. We got a positional need. We've hit positional needs with our first 3 picks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm curious to see what the next one is. If it's a D end or a pass rush, then we've hit our top 4 needs. So,
yep. Follow us on Twitter if you want to see our reactions there.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's what we have for NFL draft coverage. I hope you all enjoyed the first/second round coverage, especially Viking stuff. We will probably cover Timberwolf stuff next week, maybe some more draft stuff. You all look great today. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff.
GG.
GG. Woo!